It has been karma throughout each period of time. Just be enlightened to the truth that no one can get anything from anything, even from oneself. It is a temporary form of karma. Therefore, from now on, use the essence of the cutting deluded knowing accordingly, that which has nothing to do with attachment or non-attachment altogether. Don't use complex feelings and thoughts. Otherwise, it will not be possible to get out of its angles. Don't use repetitive feelings and opinions, as it will not enable to be released from stories. Actually, all stories bypassing themselves all the time. But if you emphasize on them, you won't bypass them. The stories will always remain with you. From now on, always use the essence of cutting deluded knowing only. It has nothing to do with attachment or non-attachment, nothing to do with engaging or disengaging altogether. It has nothing to do with grasping or not grasping. It has nothing to do with having to choose or not choosing for anything. Instantly give the essence of the enlightenment. It's correct that you feel that you can't choose anything. That's coming into the essence of the noble truth. It's not about choosing even a thing. It's not that you have to choose anything. Not related, even from not related itself, dissolving the sense of self and the self-attachment together with everything. Just continually listen to the noble truth. Initiate the reminders accordingly. It's a form of karma we don't have only this lifetime. The past has been uncountable incarnations. Each lifetime bypasses itself totally. If you can know your past lives, you will pull them up. It will be a new karmic difficulty. It's impossible to retrieve the past lives because it has been extremely long time. It has been bypassing and discarding itself at all times, including the present life. If you emphasize on it, it is held on to. It won't be bypassing. From now on, instantly use the essence of the enlightenment. In order to choose something is a suffering. Once you make a preference, it results in the suffering. Having to be with it, having to hold on to it, that's suffering in what you choose. Therefore, nothing is to be chosen. Let it be the instantaneous essence of the enlightenment, or cutting deluded knowing. No need to choose oneself nor all things. With everything, there is no obligation to choose for anything. Once there is an option, the cause of the suffering is created immediately. It indicates that you are fixated to it. This is suffering and the cause of the suffering. Regarding the essence of the enlightenment, is not about choosing anything. Neither is it about being still, maintaining a state of mind. That which has nothing to do with engaging or disengaging, dissolving the attempt to maintain any state of one's mind. Then it will not become suffering and the cause of the suffering. It has been a collective process. The form of karma is a detailed suffering, but the form of samsara is the ever form of the suffering. Various types of karma is derived from the attachment to itself, maintaining itself or choosing itself. That's why it remains within itself. If it chooses all matters, it will be with all matters. It's the same act of choosing. That's the birthing and rebirthing cycle of the suffering, attachment and fixation. On the contrary, the essence of the enlightenment is not as such. It has nothing to do with having to choose or not choosing anything. It's not related even from not related itself. This is dissolving itself, unwinding, discarding the unwinding. Thus, it will not become a whirlpool of suffering. Let's conclude well with the essence of the enlightenment. Then you will not have to suffer for uncountable lifetimes, for uncountable eons of time. This is the age of giving ending. You have experienced so many suffering already. Having learned from the suffering so much, it's time to help give ending for the beings. Choosing oneself, choosing to stay internally, choosing to stay with all matters, with the world, society, choosing to dwell in the realms of existence, in living places. These are the suffering conditions that tie oneself up. Such a bondage has always made the being suffer until the future. If unable to unlock such a bondage, suffering will continue endlessly for 100 eons, for 10,000 eons, for 100,000 eons, for millions eons of the remaining suffering periods. In fact, it's not about having to choose anything, even the liberation. Nothing to do with engaging or disengaging, attachment or non-attachment. Neither it has something to do with the non-involvement itself. This is unwinding, discarding the unwinding, just like a lotus flower discarding its bloom. The bloom doesn't maintain itself, nor hold on to itself. The bloom discards itself. This is discarding the discarding itself, unwinding, discarding the unwinding itself. This is the essence of the enlightenment of the Buddhas. This is used to unlock the riddle and the suffering of samsara. Samsara's suffering has the same characteristics. It's choosing for itself, choosing for all matters. Thus, you have to use the essential codes of unwinding, discarding the unwinding, the reminders that don't grasp themselves. Constantly make a conclusion to help cut through deluded knowing for oneself and samsara. Otherwise, you won't be able to bypass the sense of self. This is the same for everyone. Give it the next lifetime, it's impossible to get over the sense of self because of the choosing for obtaining. Everything is from not grasping, even from the non-grasping itself. Make a conclusion well with the essence of the enlightenment. With this, you will use your great blessed fortunes in the way of helping to give ending for samsara. The essence of the enlightenment is that it is not grasping even from the non-grasping itself. It has nothing to do with grasping or not grasping. Constantly use the reminders to help cut through deluded knowing altogether, for oneself and for all groups of beings.